Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I'm a Colombo Australian girl living in Melbourne. For today's video I have my top 3 favorites across lots of categories. These are my top 3 series that I binge watched this year. Number 3 is The Handmaid's Tale season 3. Season 3, everyone hated it. The majority of the season. I think it was a very slow start. Lots of things happened, but they take really long time to happen. But the end, with that end, you cannot be disappointed. Number 2 is a show called Killing Eve, and I was really late to the party. It's about this detective, that police chick detective, that she gets obsessed and platonic desires towards this fatally kind of assassin. And number 1, my top series this year, without a doubt, it was Chernobyl. So this is a HBO series. I think it's 6-8 episodes of what happened in Ukraine back in 1986 when the nuclear plant exploded. Then the USSR tried to cover it and tried to downplay it, but the reality is a lot of people got killed, a lot of people got infected, the whole sun was destroyed. It is a really good show. You go into it and you feel like you are there, and I don't know, it opens your eyes. Next, let's move on to books. This year I have read 41 books, and it's still counting because it hasn't finished. But out of my 41 books, these are my top 3. Number 3 is a fiction book, and it's the only fiction of the 3, and it's a book called The Nowhere Child. It's a story of Sammy Went, and she was 2 years old when she went missing in the US. She just disappeared from her bedroom, like she was a baby, like 2 years old. 26 years later, here in Australia, a girl called Kimberly, someone comes all the way from the US to tell her that she is that person. He believes that she is Sammy Went, who went missing 26 years back. And the book is about that, about the story of how she travels to the US to see if she's really that kid. Number 2, it's a really good book. Like number 2 and number 1 are very close, and it's called Bad Blood. If you haven't heard of this book or the podcast, where have you been? Bad Blood is about Elizabeth Holmes, who was an entrepreneur in America, and she founded a startup company called Theranos. And the whole concept of the company was that with just a drop of blood, a machine can analyze and identify many diseases, or I don't know, like vitamin D, diabetes, all kind of things from just one drop of blood. And she created all this company. A lot of investors helped her. She was very high contact with the military, with the government, and it was all a scam. Like the machine was never meant to work. She knew that. She's kind of crazy. You have to get into this story. And my number 1 book, and please, no matter who you are, no matter where you are, no matter how old you are, you should read this book. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This book, it doesn't get old. It was first published in 1936, so it's been a long time. But all the principles, everything that he's talking about, is still relevant in today's day and age. It is so good. It's about how you can communicate with people. Yeah, communicate, and how can you establish relationships to establish trust. It is really interesting. I have read it twice this year. Everyone, go and find this book because it is amazing. Now let's talk about podcasts. Let's talk about podcasts, baby. Number 3 is Australia para Latinos, and that is a podcast in Spanish for people, Latin people who live in Australia or who want to come to Australia, and it's all about life here and my experience and my best friend's experiences here. So yes, I'm hosting the show with my best friend. It's available on iTunes and it's available in Spotify. Number 2, but the podcast about Elizabeth Holmes' story is called The Dropout. So good. I just wanted to consume every single piece of information about that case. It was fascinating. And finally, number 1 is a true crime podcast. It's an Australian podcast, an Aussie podcast called The Lady Vanishes. And it's about Marion Barton, who goes missing, and it's been many years. She went missing in 1997. And since then, no one knows where she is. And finally, I want to share with you my top 3 experiences. Top 3 things that I lived this year, that I experienced this year, that made me really happy, and I really recommend you to do it. Number 3 is that I actually became Australian citizen. So, yeah!
Candidates to repeat your name one after each other, can you sing it?
Mariana Hayden.
Now my great pleasure to present you all Australians.
Number 2 is my parents were here for 3 months in Australia with me, living with me, my mom and dad. And we did a lot of traveling, we went to amazing places, but the top 1 experience was to go inside the Sydney Opera House in a tour in Spanish. It's such an amazing building. The tour cost around $42 per person, but I really recommend it. Even if you live in Sydney or if you live in Melbourne, just check it out. Like, that is such a good experience. Like, not many people have gone inside the Sydney Opera House. And this is my final recommendation of the year. This year I had the massive opportunity, and I'm so grateful, oh my God, to go and watch the play of Harry Potter. So Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. The play came to Melbourne and it's still showing. It's been showing for a year now. And I bought the tickets right away, and I had to wait 6 or 9 long months until I finally got to see it. It is impressive. Like, there are things that happen during the sessions that you don't see it coming. Like, it just jaw-dropping, like, And that's it. Those are the best of the best things that I read, listened, watched, experienced in 2019. What about you? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and see you soon. Bye!